Hello. I invite you to continue this series of calm reflections on the book Our Home by André Luiz, a spiritual account of life after death, responsibility, and the maturation of consciousness through work. Chapter 36 is titled Sleep. This is a very peaceful chapter, yet at the same time deeply spiritual. It does not describe dramatic events or difficult scenes from Umbral. Instead, it reveals something very important: the spiritual meaning of work, the value of selfless service, and the remarkable role that experiences during sleep may play in the spiritual world. This chapter also reveals a beautiful moment in which André meets his mother, who gives him one of the most important lessons of spiritual life. After an intense night of work in the rectification chambers, André gradually begins to feel more at home in his new role as a helper. He participates in magnetic work, assisting spirits who have arrived from Umbral. The fatigue is great, but it is a special kind of fatigue. A fatigue that brings joy. A fatigue that arises from the feeling of being useful. Tobias, one of the supervisors, notices his effort and encourages him to continue his work. He also promises to inform Minister Genesio about André's first services. For André, this is something new. For the first time since arriving in the colony, he feels that he is truly becoming useful. After the work is finished, Tobias offers him a small room near the rectification chambers so he can rest. Tired but happy, André prays and thanks God for the opportunity to serve. Soon he falls asleep. But this is not an ordinary sleep. It is an experience of conscious presence in another spiritual plane. André clearly knows that his body is resting in the colony. At the same time, he feels that his spirit is traveling somewhere else. In a vision that resembles a journey by boat, he arrives in an extraordinary region filled with light, beauty, and peace. There he hears a voice that he immediately recognizes. It is the voice of his mother. This meeting becomes one of the most touching moments of the entire story. André's mother welcomes him with deep love and leads him to a beautiful place that resembles a luminous garden. In this peaceful environment, they begin a conversation that becomes a true lesson in spiritual wisdom. André's mother explains something very important. She tells him that work is one of the greatest blessings of spiritual life. She calls it a divine tonic for the heart. She explains that many souls, after leaving Earth, remain passive. They wait for miracles, for sudden solutions, for special privileges. But in doing so, they lose precious time. Their abilities remain unused. André's mother emphasizes that every opportunity to do good is a form of service to God. Sometimes it may be something very simple. A bowl of soup for the hungry. A word of hope for the suffering. A gesture of kindness towards someone overwhelmed by despair. In the spiritual world, there are similar forms of help. It may be a compassionate look, a word of comfort, or simply being present with someone who is going through a difficult moment. Every such gesture has immense value. In her teaching, André's mother also speaks about a very interesting topic. She mentions the system of bonus hours used in the colony. However, she explains that this is only an administrative system. The true value of work does not depend on external rewards. Only God knows its real value. Human systems of evaluation may sometimes make mistakes. But the spiritual value of every moment dedicated to good remains recorded in the spiritual reality. Time spent doing good is never wasted. God, as André's mother explains, is the perfect administrator of life. And he never forgets any effort made with love. André's mother also reminds him of one of the most beautiful teachings of the Gospel. There is more joy in giving than in receiving. She encourages him to always give what is best within himself. Not only material things, but above all, understanding, patience, tolerance, and brotherly love. Her words have a powerful effect. André feels a new energy awakening within him, a new motivation to work, a deeper understanding of the meaning of spiritual life. Chapter 36 reveals an important truth. True happiness of the spirit does not come from rest or from avoiding effort. It comes from service, from giving goodness to others, from work that helps those in need. This chapter also reminds us of several important truths. That work performed with love has immense spiritual value. That even the smallest act of goodness is never lost. That God sees every effort made by the human heart. That the true reward for good is not always immediately visible. And that the greatest joy comes from helping others. This is a very peaceful chapter, yet at the same time deeply profound. It shows that in the spiritual world every moment of existence can become an opportunity for growth, and that the true wealth of the soul is born from work, love, and selfless service. And it leaves us with an important question. In our daily lives, are we able to recognize the value of small acts of goodness? And are we willing to give more of ourselves than what is merely comfortable? In the next chapter, André Luiz will continue discovering the laws of spiritual life within the colony. The journey continues. See you soon.